Hello friends, my name is James. And this is my 1965 Alberg 30 sloop, Tritea. We are on a mission to sail around the world and see as much of this beautiful planet as possible. We're currently working our way through the South Pacific. I can't wait to show you everything we see. After an amazing 2 months of exploring French Polynesia, that took me from Rangiroa to Tikihau in the Tuamotus, to Tahiti, Moorea, Huahine, Raiatea, Taha, and Bora Bora in the Society Islands. It was now time to move on to American Samoa, with cyclone season looming and a lot of miles to cover before we end the season in New Zealand. We have just cleared the pass, time to get to sailing. Yep, we're stoked. All right, on towards American Samoa. We're passing Muapiti. And it's been lovely sailing. Been a really nice afternoon. The days leading up to today were pretty gnarly with squalls and high winds for like a week. So I'm really happy it ended up us leaving on the day we did today. It's really nice. Now it's time to do the age-old chore of being back at sea and trying to stop some of the rattling, especially since we're going with following seas. Everything shakes like crazy. So we'll start shoving things into places that are making noise, and you just slowly kind of narrow it down. But this little green Tupperware in here, that should stop that silliness. That's secure. This can go down here. Here. It's really maddening at night, like when you're trying to go to sleep. You'll hear a billion little sounds and you'll like start, it's like funny, in one of these, I don't dare open it because everything will fly out, but there's like a big chunk of the foam from my very first passage from LA to Hawaii that I ripped off my sleeping thing and shoved in there to like stop a sound. It's still in there. It's funny. But I think I got the first pass of rattle stop done, and it's a never-ending battle. The other funny thing is, like when you eat food, like if you make pasta and you take pasta sauce out, you'll have to like put the empty jar, you clean it out, put the empty jar back in its spot, otherwise there's a void, right? Looks and sounds good. So it's 4 a.m. and my head door just broke off of the, apart. It like, the latch didn't close and it flew open and just like snapped apart. I think I can glue it back together tomorrow. Adventures at sea. Oh yeah, it looks like I can just like do some wood glue in that seam and put it back together. Maybe some little screws. There's not a lot to bite on though. No big deal. Trying to make a quesadilla. This is morning of day 3. Last night was very mellow, a couple squalls, quite a bit of rain, but Tritea handled her own business, so it was an easy night. This morning we've had a few kind of big squalls, nothing crazy wind-wise, but it becalmed us 2 different times. We were becalmed. We just now got kind of cruising again, and we're doing good. Yeah, it's been nice. The following seas have really helped keep the speed up. We had, by like, I don't know, 8 a.m. this morning, we had already done 100 miles, which is awesome. But then we got becalmed, so I think we'll probably be 110 on our noon position today. But it's been very nice passage so far. We should be in a week from today. That being said, there's some really kind of gnarly winds predicted for Thursday, and so we'll see what that does, you know. that might change things a bit. It's not the wind so much that'll be bad, but the seas that come with it that'll be rough. So that's where we're at. We're doing great, and I'm ready to have second breakfast in the form of a bean and cheese quesadilla. And keep fighting the good fight of cooking undersea. It's been a mellow, light wind day. Washed my hair. That's nice. Always a nice change of pace. Watching this squall. See if it's gonna get us wet. The wind is so light I can't even tell which way it's coming from. The seas keep us moving in the direction we want to go. Luckily, they're going the same direction as us, so that's helpful. But we have been making slow progress today, but that's okay. It is pretty out. Nice temperature, probably 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And I spent the day reading, did some writing, took a nap. Regular passage making day, you know. And we shall see what the squall brings and what the night brings. I had been like, until this passage, I had never done an extensive days on days of sailing wing and wing. I'd done it a lot coastally in Southern California. But this is the first time I've done day after day of wing and wing sailing. So wasn't really sure how the boat was going to react when squalls hit, especially at night. But yeah, she's handled great. She kind of runs off a little bit and then finds her way back as long as the wind vane, you know, returns to the course that it was originally set to. It was also nice today. I discovered that I can furl up the headsail almost all the way with the pole attached, which is nice because if it got hairy and I needed to shorten sail quickly, I can do it without having to go forward and take the pole down, which would be very sketchy. So that's like good peace of mind. It's time to get back to my book and just enjoy this mellow passage. Making some ramen for dinner. Last night, it got real crazy when I was trying to make dinner. And boiling water splashed out and burned my leg. You'd think I'd learn my lesson and put pants on, but I'm not very sharp, obviously. The boat's motion is very rocky and rolly. There's also a squall approaching on the horizon. Boy, days kind of blend one into another sometimes on passage making. But boat is doing silly stuff right now. She just keeps like driving like this for hours and hours and hours and hours. It's kind of maddening. But as I was saying, days blend together, one into another. The sea keeps tumbling, clouds keep rolling by. Stars were very beautiful last night. The Milky Way was on full display directly above Tritea. I saw Orion's Belt high in the eastern sky. And we've been having good daily runs. I think today's daily run was 117 nautical miles, which is awesome. And it seems like we've fallen into a pattern of over 110, which is great. Now it's time to knock out this ramen and then get back into some reading until the night is upon us. Been out here trying to balance the sails, and it's very, very difficult. The boat just does these massive, like, it like surfs down waves and turns one way or the other. And when it does it to an extreme, it'll backwind either the main or the headsail. I prefer it to backwind the headsail because it's less violent when it resets. But I've been trying to balance it so that it catches the wind and it doesn't drive off so hard. But it's really hard to find the sweet spot. Like right now, we just turned off so hard. The winds have come down to about 20 knots. The seas are like, I don't know. The biggest one I've seen are like 3 meters, 3.5 meters maybe. Like it's not real gnarly out, it's just very, very rolling. Put the solar panels down at sunset last night because the waves were getting so big I was really worried about it damaging them. So those got lashed down last night. And yeah, this is a pretty good sized wave. It's impossible to film waves. Like on video it looks like nothing. You see how we turned so crazy? We just turned hard into the wind. Poor wind vane's doing its very best, but and then it's gonna slap. Oh, it wasn't too bad. Usually when it corrects, that headsail slams like with great violence, and I'll worry about it damaging the sail. Should be like, this is Thursday, Friday should be these same conditions, and then Saturday and Sunday it's supposed to come back down to 14 knots. And so the seas will slowly come back down as well. We just got a massive amount of water. Oh, fuck. We just took a massive amount of water on, and I'm very worried that it just contaminated all my freshwater supply, besides what's in the jerry cans. Alright, I need to calm down. Making headway though. I got the electric bilge pump going too. I shortened sail. Let's close that. Making headway. I just worry about the fresh water. But we have 3 jerry cans of fresh, and we're only a couple days from American Samoa. Floorboards were awash. Here's the bilge pump going. The emergency bilge float, the second one, the alarm float, is just floating in the water. I have it on manual. Let it try to get this thing dry. Now I gotta start trying to deal with the aftermath. It's so crazy. Okay, so the bilge is finally dry. I wiped everything down, sprayed everything down, cleaned everything, tried to get as much seawater off the inside as possible. And won't be able to really dry the boat out until we get to American Samoa. That was shocking. The only thing I can think is maybe I didn't have one of the rubber latches holding the cockpit locker down, like on the fuel tank side. And when that wave hit, it blew that cockpit locker open and just filled that cockpit locker. because we did not take much water through the hatch when the wave broke. The wave was big enough, it broke into the hatch was open like this much for air, and it poured in, luckily towards the galley and not the chart table because the way we were heeled. But I bet that one side cockpit locker, I didn't have that rubber latch down, and it washed open with that wave and just water poured in, because there was an immense amount of water in the bilge like that. And we'll wait and see about the water supply. I don't think, it wasn't really submerged long enough that I don't think it would really contaminate it if any seawater got in. Obviously I sealed everything properly, but we'll see, you know. If it tastes a little salty, I have a tester as well. I can test the water quality to see what the solids are. Whew, boy, that was exciting, and not in a fun way, but that's life at sea, I guess. Yeah, the seas are getting silly. I went ahead and shortened sail just to kind of have us not get out of control with the seas doing the wild shit they're doing. So a target just appeared on my AAS. It's a ship my brother had warned me about at midnight, and I've been watching for. It's 8.5 miles off our port beam right now. I can't see it, but I'm glad it's that far away. We were on like a kind of the same course but reciprocal, and yeah, I've been watching for it all morning. And right on time. She's right off the beam, but plenty far away. It's safe, and far enough away that the alarm didn't have to go off. But I'm glad that she did pop up on the screen. That gives me a lot of peace of mind. The seas are still standing up and crazy, and we're gonna have a full day of this sort of motion and just staying down below, keeping the sails small, and pushing our way on. Made quick work of that considering the sea state. Got a loose lashing of Dyneema cord on to get that slide taken care of. I had put zip ties on it that a few days ago that had chafed through last night, so I went ahead and got that dealt with. And seems like everything, this is Friday, seems like everything's kind of coming down finally as it was forecasted to. The winds are kind of up and down, but they're coming down. The sea state, while big, it doesn't feel like it's charging as hard as it was yesterday or last night. So that's great. And then it's supposed to come down to like 18 knots tomorrow, and then 14 knots on Sunday. And then we should be getting in Monday. It's looking like it. We're doing really good runs. Yesterday's noon to noon was 129 miles. So we're doing good. And all's well. Boy, what a difference it makes when you go from sailing wing and wing back to just regular sailing. The boat motion is like so much better. Not a ton of wind with the angle at which we're sailing, but it's what we got. So we're making about 4.5, 5 knots between surfing, and all is well. It appears the gooseneck to the boom has just broken. We've just gone through a crazy squall. It did not break during the squall, but now we gotta go deal with this before another squall hits. Not good, my friends. Not good. We're like 170 miles from American Samoa. Real bummer. Okay, so the gooseneck has not broken, but the track has. It's coming off the track. So we gotta, I have to get the mainsail down so that it doesn't get crazy in case another squall comes up. Problem is, I don't know how to do this without it damaging the Dodger. pretty mellow right now, so. Actually, I think I can fix it right now. I'm gonna try to fix it right now. It looks like the gooseneck slide just came all the way up out of the track. I don't know. Maybe it's stupid to fix it right now. I think I'll just lash the boom and wait till daylight. I don't want another squall to hit when I'm like halfway through doing this. Okay, I'll try to show you guys what I did. It's kind of hard in the dark. We'll look at it more in the morning. So here's the end of the gooseneck. Doesn't seem to be damaged. I've taken the spinnaker pole topping lift and secured it to hold the weight up. I have it on the winch handle, the winch there, mast winch there, and I lashed it so that it can't move side to side. And now I'll just try to get the mainsail kind of lashed a bit, and then we'll pay out a little bit of headsail to give us some stability and forward motion, and we're good to go. Okay, it's been kind of a hell of a day. Squalls after squalls after squalls all day long. The forecast was for like 12 to 14 knots of wind today. We've seen 20 knots kind of all day. And it's like too wide of an area to just be like a squall line. It's just like a big kind of front that's passing, I think. It looks like we have a short break in squalls right now. It's like probably almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get the boom back on. It's not been safe enough to do it as of yet. So I'm gonna go out there and take a look at it and see if it makes sense with the sea state and the wind and everything. And if it feels safe, then I'll try to get it back into place. It'd be nice to be able to get the main up and give us a little bit of stability and a little bit extra speed. We've done good speed-wise because there's been so much wind. I've just been running the headsail. We haven't really lost that much speed. But it would be nice to have the main, obviously. So, time to get out there and try this. I'll show you guys what it looks like up close in the daylight, since it was really hard to see last night. I looked at it this morning and it looks fine. So that's the slide. Looks fine, not tweaked at all. This is the plate. It's gonna be hard to show you with everything, but this is the plate itself. And up here, you can see up there is where it slid off. So I need to raise the main at least out of the way enough to get that slide back on to the track. And then I'll install a downhaul so that it can't happen again. And the horizon looks good, no squalls. Oh, that was not easy. Got it done though. I have to do a temporary Dyneema lash on a different slide that blew out. Everything's on, everything's good. The main's up with the second reef tied in. I'm really glad that I was able to just reinsert it onto its track and nothing broke. Got really lucky on that one. And happy to have the main back up so we can put some speed under us. And I managed to get it done right before this next squall hit. White-tailed tropic bird. That tells you how close we are to land. We're 125 miles from American Samoa, and those guys don't have a wide range, so it's very exciting. The skies are gorgeous out here right now. Land ho, my friends, land ho. I saw the silhouette of land this morning when I was shaking the reefs out of the mainsail to get her up and drawing. This is the Manua Islands. I'm not sure the name of the individual islands. There's 2 islands. This one's large. I'm kind of shocked at how big it is. We're about 20 miles away from it right now. We'll pass within 10 miles of it. Just out here having some coffee, enjoying this nice breeze. We had a very peaceful night sailing last night. At max, I think we did 3 knots all night, but no squalls, very calm seas like this, and it was just nice. It was just nice. I'd planned on starting the engine this morning, but we're doing like about 4 knots right now, and I think I'm just gonna fly the spinnaker. And if we can be moving between 4 and 5 knots all day, then we're just gonna sail. Because we'd be making that motoring anyway without having to listen to the motor. So either way, we're not getting in till after midnight tonight into American Samoa. So I'm not really worried about it. I would much rather be sailing, for sure, than listening to the engine. So I'm gonna try to fly the kite and see if she can get us moving. There's not much wind forecasted for the next week anyway, so I know that it's not gonna come roaring back today and we'll have some kind of grand entrance at sunset. I'm more than happy to have a kind of a peaceful entry into American Samoa. It's been a good passage. Had some ups and downs here and there, but that's just sailing. Overall though, it's been a really nice, solid passage. And I look forward to seeing what American Samoa has in store for us. It's like 5:30 in the afternoon. Just brought in my fishing line. We did not catch anything. The wind totally vanished at about 12:30. We've been motor sailing since then. And even after we got out of the lee of the islands, it never returned. So it's just been sliding mainsail. I tried to have the headsail out for a while, but it did nothing. We are, I think, 48 miles from Pago, American Samoa. And we won't get in until very early in the morning. Probably, since there's no wind assist, probably like 5 a.m. or something. So, just a slow motor through the night to close out a good but eventful passage. All in all, it was a really good passage. We had some obstacles, but we overcame them, and yeah, have a good feeling about it. This was my third longest solo passage I've ever made. By the time we reach Pago Pago, it'll be like just over 1,100 miles. And yeah, stoked to have a big distance knocked out of this leg that we need to do this season. After this, we'll spend about a week in American Samoa, and then push to Fiji. That it's like a 700-mile passage, so that'll probably take a week. And then I'll spend, you know, a month or so in Fiji, exploring everything I can, hitting every anchorage possible, really seeing the sights. I'm really excited for Fiji. So, and then come November, we head south to New Zealand. So, a lot to look forward to still. And now I just got to get through this last little motor leg tonight. It's always, you get real antsy on that sort of like final push on a passage, and made worse by no wind, and I think we're motoring at like 3.5 knots, so it's just like watching paint dry. But we'll get there, we'll get in safe and get cleared in. Current swells right here is bananas. The depths go from like several thousand feet to like 47 feet in short order. And the swells just stacked up. They're too great for the autopilot. We are 4 miles from being at the customs dock at Pago Pago. So I think it's Starkist, I think that's who the tuna fish company is. They have a big factory here, and it smells very fishy. Kind of reminds me of the Pacific Northwest, some of the harbors up there. Definitely has a fishy aroma. And that's a known thing with this harbor, but we're coming in, we just made our final sort of turn. We just got to drive back deep into the bay and find a shallow spot to anchor. It's really pretty, the mountains are gorgeous, beautiful sunrise, and good weather for us to come in on. I am glad I'm doing this in the daylight and not at night. So yeah, final stretch. Get in, get the hook drop. We're creeping into what's supposed to be a shallow spot, looking for like 20 feet, 25 feet. There's 30 feet beyond it, which we can anchor in, no problem. But the shallower the better for me, because I haul it by hand. And I also read that in the shallower spots, there's like better holding. "29 feet, that'll do." Boy, really bad holding. Everything I'd read about this place said that this harbor is bad holding, and boy, they were not lying. It just drug and drug and drug. Like I had 3 scope out and it just kept dragging. Basically, I just drove backwards and drug until it stuck. So crazy. But She held real tight when she did grab, and now I'm going to pay out 5 scope, and we're all set. So, stoked to be here. Welcome to Pago, American Samoa. Ship's log, September 21st, 2022. We are being pushed in many directions all at the same time. Our forward progress averaged by the strength of the dominant motion. Standing in the cockpit facing one's own wake, the disturbed path that is the only indication that we had traveled this way, and one that is gone as soon as it is created, shows an endless seascape of marching waves. At first, they look uniform in their mission. But as you focus on the details, you see that each wave has its own desires and attempts. As your boat veers one way or another, the self-steering gear patiently correcting course repeatedly. Small waves attempt to travel north-northwest, others push for the southwest, as the large dominant swells hold their course northwest, swallowing up and overtaking any who attempt their own path. A strong swell from the southeast rolls the boat, pointing her bow due north. Her hull is met with the slap of a wave sending sea spray into the air as a small stream runs down the side deck and finds its way back home via the scuppers. Ocean swells are tales of weather far away. Held steady and driving by the prevailing winds, the sea itself is pliable. She simply lies still unless forced to move. The moon, and less so the sun, make her breathe her daily tides. A distant storm in the Southern Ocean produces large, slow rollers of ocean swell that roll through the South Pacific. A gale in the Bering Sea sends massive waves to the north shore of Oahu, making it a destination for surfers from around the world. It is the wind that makes the sea dangerous. Waves do not exist without the wind. It is an invisible force that can turn a mirror-smooth sea into a great tempest, the likes of which has terrified sailors for as long as humans have been gliding across the open waters of the world's oceans. It is those same winds, sometimes polite, other times violent, that allow us to sail as our ancestors did for centuries. With all the world's advancements in technology, we can still slowly make our way around the world by the wind. There is a greater lesson to be learned here. We will be pushed in all directions by many forces whom have their own intentions, but the prevailing force will determine the eventual course. It's up to you to decide what that prevailing force is and where it will take you by setting your course and being patient. Captain James Frederick of SV Tritea. I want to thank David Frederick and Sarah Koenig for being my always reliable shore team. You guys are my eyes in the sky and my boots on the ground. Thank you for helping keep me safe on all of these passages. Thank you for watching this film. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to take a minute to thank everyone who supports me. The channel and my life is fully funded through my YouTube channel. That's my full-time job. Part of the income comes from my patrons who see value in what I'm making, either through entertainment or they learn things, and they have the ability to, or they decided that they want to contribute. So thank you to my Patreon crew. And 2/3 of my income actually comes from you guys. So from the ad revenue from YouTube, you guys just watching it, that is a huge contribution to me being able to do this full time and not have to take, you know, several months off at a time to go work on land. So thank you for watching. Thank you to my patrons. Some of y'all have been with me since the very beginning, and I just really appreciate the support. And I hope you continue to enjoy all the beautiful things that I have to show you still, and all the things we have yet to see. If you enjoy the content on this channel and would like to contribute, you can consider joining the Patreon crew. Thanks for watching. Fair winds until next time.